the list of tools that you need as a groundman. I have my groundman bag here that has basically all the tools that I have in my groundman bag. The handful of tools that you should get, this would be less than $500 for all of it. Probably maybe a couple $100, if that. So I like this bag. This is a Klein bag. You can find this basically anywhere. You just type in Klein groundman bag, you know, and you can find this one, okay? The other thing is a hammer, okay? I like to get a waffle head hammer. I think this is a 23 ounce hammer, Milwaukee hammer. This thing's great. So having a hammer is very good. You're gonna want a hammer. Welcome back to episode 48 of CTQ. CTQ is a segment I do on this channel called Cruise the Questions. And this is where I take your guys' questions and I answer them here to help you guys on your blue collar career pathways. A lot of these questions are regarding the lineman trade, but hey, I'm here to help you guys with any of your blue collar career questions, whether you're looking to pursue electrician trade, or maybe you want to become an iron worker or a welder of some sort. Whatever blue collar skill trade you're looking to get into, you can go ahead and ask your questions. There's a few different ways you can do it. One of the best ways is if you just go ahead and email them to austin@bluecollaredu.com, or you can put them in the comments down below. If you find me on social media at bluecollaredu, TikTok or Instagram, you can go ahead and send me a DM there as well. And I try to get these questions and I'll answer 2, 3, sometimes 4 of them on one of these episodes just to try to help you guys on your pathway, okay? There's a lot of questions out there. If you don't have somebody in your family who's blue collar, or you know somebody you know, this is a good way. You can reach out to me. I don't have all the answers, but I know enough people in a variety of different trades where I can get an answer for you. So with that being said, yeah, go ahead and submit those questions. Email is really the best way. And hey, one thing I do ask is try to give me a good amount of information on who you are, where you come from, especially state, city, and the trade you're obviously trying to pursue. That way I can try to narrow it down and get as specific as possible for you while answering these questions. It just gives me a better idea so I can try to get the most accurate information for you. With all that being said, let's go ahead and hop into question number 1. Question number 1 is coming from a guy named Hunter, and he says, "Hey Austin, love your videos. I just wanted to chat about my situation to see if you have any guidance on how you should move forward. I'm 25, live in the Portland area, and currently work in a construction related field, property restoration, and have been for 5 years. I love my company and would say there, but it's only local to me and my girlfriend will have to move for work in 3 to 5 years. This has led me to exploring other options and stumbled on your videos in the lineman trade. I'm planning on going through the apprenticeship program, and when I journey out, I can move wherever needed with my girlfriend. I'd like to stay local during my apprenticeship, but understand that likely won't happen. At this point, I'm trying to make myself as appealing as possible to the apprenticeship board. I currently have my OSHA 30, HAZWOPER, CPR first aid, flagger, and currently working on my CDL with tanker and hazmat endorsements on it. Do you recommend anything else I should do before applying? I'm planning on signing book 4 with local 125 to become a groundman as soon as I get my CDL so I can start getting experience. Line school is a bit out of the question due to the cost, and I already have my certs that I need. Is it work worth getting crane and maybe confined spaces certs before applying? Also, how do I manage the large initial expense of getting my climbing gear and supporting tools? It seems like even as a used set can be upwards of $2,000 with a total cost of $3,000 plus. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Maybe a brief list of recommended tools and gear you recommend for groundmen and or apprentices just starting out. There doesn't seem to be many videos out there about it. Thanks a bunch. Your videos are incredibly insightful and informative." All right, Hunter. So starting out with your first question about certifications, you already have OSHA 30, HAZWOPER, CPR first aid, flagger. Those are like really great certifications to already have. Now you're currently working on your CDL with tanker and hazmat. Just make sure your CDL doesn't have an auto restriction. Make sure it's no restrictions so you can drive a manual truck. That's going to be one of those things that you're just going to have. Most apprenticeships, especially the Northwest, are going to require you to not have that auto restriction on your CDL. So make sure when you're getting your CDL, you do have that. Now, is there any other certifications besides the ones you have and the one you're getting that you should acquire before really applying or going to go sign the out of work books? There is something I do want to tell you right now is that you can go to IBW Local 125 and go sign the out of work books right now with no CDL. That way you can go get your name on the books and be at least on the out of work book list waiting. And as they call out groundman, you'll move up a spot, okay? So you don't have to wait to have your CDL in order to sign the groundman books. Realistically, you need no certifications in order to sign the out of work books, okay? So that is something I would tell you, especially if you live in Portland right now and you can just go sign the books, is just go sign the books, okay? You don't need to have that CDL in order to sign the books. Now, once you get your CDL and you're continuously re-signing the books each month like you're supposed to, you'll know that when you go to the union hall, they'll tell you, hey, you got to re-sign every month. It's usually from the 10th to the 16th. You can re-sign online. Once you get that CDL, you call the union hall and tell them, hey, I got my Class A CDL with the tanker's endorsement and hazmat, and they're gonna have you send probably picture proof, email them a picture of your CDL and your medical certificate in order for them to put that certificate on your portfolio. So in your name on the out of work books, they'll have all your certifications listed out. So if a contractor calls for a groundman and they're looking for someone who has a tanker endorsement on their CDL, that has a flagging certificate, who has maybe OSHA 10, you'll be on that list and you'll have that. So right now you can go sign the books. You don't have to have that CDL. Just when you get it, you just have to call and make sure, and they're going to have you send email proof of that certification so they can put that on the list of certifications that you have. Other certifications, like you mentioned, crane certification, I wouldn't worry about that, because once you get into the apprenticeship now in the Northwest, and like I think a lot of the other apprenticeships now in the country are all doing crane classes in the apprenticeship. So you will become a journeyman lineman with your crane cert. So I personally would not go out and spend the time and the money to get that crane cert right now, okay? You're gonna get that in the apprenticeship. There's people that already have it because their previous work history, maybe they worked as an operator and they have their crane cert, good for them. But I necessarily wouldn't go out of my way to get that, because I don't think that's really going to help you get into an apprenticeship, just because they offer that crane cert now in the apprenticeship, and that's something that you're going to get. You're going to have to get and pass all the tests and XYZ in order to become a journeyman lineman. That was never a requirement up until like 2021. They started implementing the crane certification within the apprenticeship. So guys now journey out and complete the apprenticeship with their crane cert. So there's that. You can use the information as you will, but I don't think that it's necessarily a big deal to have that before getting into the apprenticeship. The other thing you talked about, confined spaces. That's another thing that I know in Portland, because I worked on PGE property a lot as an apprentice. You do work in vaults, you do work in confined spaces, but that's also something that you will learn about and get certification in the apprenticeship. That's what the apprenticeship is for, is to give you those certifications that are going to make you the most eligible apprentice and journeyman lineman when you complete the apprenticeship, is those certifications. So I technically wouldn't even really worry about the confined spaces as well. Now, if you think that, hey, this is something I want to learn about and I want to go get, then you feel comfortable spending the time and the money to go get that. Sure, I'm not even really sure what you need to do to get the confined space endorsement or certification. I don't even think that I actually got a confined space certification in the apprenticeship. because I think the confined space, I forget exactly what the regulations are for a confined space, but we worked in vaults a lot. And yeah, I mean, was it confined space? I don't know, maybe if it's kind of a gray area. But as far as the regs go for working in confined space, we never had to have like that certification to work in vaults. So I wouldn't be super concerned about that as well. So the crane cert in the confined space, I wouldn't be too worried about. Okay, like the ones you already have and the one you're getting, that's a good list of certifications to already have. Okay, like the only other certification that I think can help is like a climbing certification, which you'll get through a lineman school. But if you're in no means or in a spot to go to a lineman school like Volta, then I wouldn't really worry about it. Again, that's what the apprenticeship is for, is to teach you how to climb and teach you how to do these types of things. You'll go through climbing class. You'll go through these things in the apprenticeship. You will learn. You will do these things. So not a big deal, but that's really the only other one that I could think of off the top of my head that does help guys get in, but I don't think it's like a deal breaker, like you have to have it in order to get into the apprenticeship, because like I said, that's what the apprenticeship is for. You have a good list of certifications. I would just go to Union Hall. I would go sign the books right now. Get on the out of work books. As soon as you get that CDL, contact them, contact 125 and or whatever other union books you might be on, and then tell them you got your CDL, and they'll have you email them proof, and they'll put that on the list of certs that you have. All right, how do you manage the large initial expense of getting my climbing gear and supporting tools? So climbing gear, tools that you need right off the bat. As a groundman, I wouldn't even be worried about having climbing gear right off the bat, okay? You won't be climbing as a groundman unless you have like a climbing cert. But as a groundman, it's just as it says. You are a groundman. You're on the ground, okay? So you're gonna be doing the grunt work on the ground. You're gonna get material ready. You're gonna be helping prepping jobs. You're gonna be doing the guy running the hand line. So like you'll be on the ground. And really the list of tools that you need as a groundman or like a very low step apprentice. Now, if you become an apprentice, you're gonna need climbing gear, because once you get into class and they're gonna teach you how to climb, of course, you're gonna need the climbing gear. But starting out as a groundman, as a first step, I mean, if you start working as a groundman, there's really a handful of tools that you should have. And I have my groundman bag here that has basically all the tools that I have in my groundman bag. And I actually have a free course that you can go check out at bluecollaredu.com, the free learning. I'll have in the link in the description below, where you can go check out this course. It's free. You can enroll for free. And I talk about all these tools, but since we're talking about it already right now, I'm just going to tell you kind of the handful of tools that you should get. This would be less than $500 for all of it. Probably maybe a couple $100, if that. So I like this bag. This is a Klein bag. You can find this basically anywhere. You just type in Klein Groundman bag, and you can find this one, okay? The other thing is a hammer, okay? I like to get a waffle head hammer. I think this is a 23 ounce hammer, Milwaukee hammer. This thing's great. So having a hammer is very good. You're gonna want a hammer. You're gonna want a pair of channel locks, okay? 9.5-inch channel locks. Have a pair of these in your back pocket at all times. This is going to be a tool that you will use a lot if you're a groundman on a lineman crew. This is going to be a tool that's very important. A pair of Kleins, okay, 9-inch Kleins. Make sure they do this, okay? You can do this by getting some WD-40, spraying it in the jaws, and working them out like crazy. Make sure your Klein's open like that, okay? Having a pair of Kleins in your back pocket is gonna be also essential. A crescent wrench, channel lock brand, crescent wrench brand, whatever brand, Milwaukee brand, having a crescent wrench is gonna be another good tool to have. This would be pretty nice to have. This is a low wrench, a lineman wrench. This is gonna be a combo, so it has the 9/16 and 3/4 plus this 3/4 and 5/8 for both the bolts and nuts we use for Lion hardware. This is a good combo wrench that you can get. I think it's 150 bucks, but this thing is a 4-in-1, so this is a good wrench to have as well. A tape measure is good. Make sure you get yourself a tape measure. Either, have a regular tape measure and have a folding tape measure, okay? One of each. I think it's good to have one of these in your Groundman bag as well. Another thing that I could recommend is a 4-in-1 speed wrench, we call this, or a click. It's gonna have your 1/2 inch, 9/16, 3/4, and 5/8. This is for all small bolted connections we use in the line trade. So this is a good combo, 4-in-1. You don't need this right off the bat, but this is something that, hey, if you have a few extra bucks, to get one of these as well. Now, this is what I would use channel locks for a lot. So if you can carry a pair of channel locks with you, you can do everything that thing does. This thing just speeds things up a little bit, is to have that thing, because it's a speed wrench. It makes things go faster when you're tightening bolted connections. So really those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools that are really good to have right off the bat, plus the bag. Now you can get a bunch of other things. This thing's plumb full of tools, but I've also been in the trade for 10 years. So of course I've acquired things, I've thrown them in here. And as time goes on, you'll figure out, linemen will say, hey, you should get this. And you can go to Ace Hardware or Home Depot or Lowe's or Harbor Freight and get the tools required you need. But starting out, that's really like a good 5, 6, 7 tools to have right there. Besides that, like I said, as time goes on, you'll figure out what tools you need. And when the apprenticeship is getting close and you're gonna need to get climbing gear, as you're working as a groundman, you'll be making money, just putting, $100 away a week. Pretty soon you can get your climbing gear. And in your climbing gear, you're gonna carry a pair of clines, channel locks, a low wrench, a crescent wrench, a folding tape measure, and a knife of some sort is also gonna be really good to have. I mean, this in here, I just have a knife that my dad made me. But a Milwaukee folding knife is gonna be great as well. So like I said, those are great tools. Go check out the free course I have. I talk about all these tools, where you can get them. Plus, I think I have another video or 2 on the channel that I talk about these tools, and I'll post it up here in one of these corners for you to check out. So initially, those tools, under $500, under $300 realistically, to really get those tools you need starting out. So it's not a huge initial cost, but obviously as time goes on, you're gonna wanna be spending more money, investing your money into tools. These tools are gonna make you a lot of money, and you're gonna need them in the trade. So don't look at it as like a big cost, because hey, I know it might cost a few $1,000s to get all the tools you need, but these tools are investments. So get these tools, get the bare essentials like I just showed you right now, and then later on down the trade, when you're a groundman for a month, a couple months, few months, become an apprentice, you're gonna need your climbing gear. You're just gonna have to spend the money, and it is what it is. So get that stuff. But that's a good list right there, right off the bat. All right, let's hop into question number 2. Question number 2 coming from guy Diego says, hey Austin, always watching your videos, and on behalf of others like me, thank you for the info. Now, as far as me, I'm 37, single, no kids, trying to become a lineman. I applied to Albat, Swolecat, Mountain States, CalNav. For Swolecat, I passed the aptitude test, and now I'm waiting for interview dates for Phoenix and Houston. For Albat, they were able to use my scores from Swolecat, and I'm waiting interview for Indianapolis. Mountain States doesn't require aptitude test, but I'm also waiting for interview. CalNav is waiting on test date for aptitude test. I filled out this application back in January. I work security and I'm tired of it. It's boring. Pay could be better. I did some construction before. I have a CDL Class A and I live in California. What do you think? Well, Diego, short answer is you're doing everything that you need to do. You've applied for the apprenticeships. It just becomes a waiting game, okay? You've done aptitude tests, you're waiting for interview dates, you're waiting for test dates. There's not a whole lot more that you can do. You already have a CDL. If you want to, you can get your CPR first aid card. I don't know if you've gone out and signed the books at all, but I'd go sign the books at local 47, 1245, 769, 111 in Denver. There's a lot of the union books that you can sign on the west side of the country. And when it comes time to interview, they're going to ask you, hey, are you on any out of work groundman books? And your answer should be yes, because that's showing that you're being proactive and you're trying to get into the trade as a groundman, okay? Doesn't mean that you're going to get a call out as a groundman, because especially in California, there's a lot of people on the groundman books. So that is what it is, but it's a good idea that you at least go get on the out of work books as a groundman. Go sign the books. You have to do that. You should do it. When it comes time to interviews, like I said, it's something that you're going to talk about is, hey, I've went and signed the books in California, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Washington, Oregon, okay, Nevada. Go sign the books. Go make a road trip, okay? And you're just going to have to do it. It's going to be a good thing to talk about, showing that you're taking the proper steps, doing things that you need to do in order to get into the lineman trade. And you might get a groundman call, okay? So you already are doing what you need to do. I just recommend you go sign the out of work books as a groundman in these different states at these different union halls and start there as well. You could get your OSHA card if you want to, certificate, CPR first aid, flagging certificate would be great to have too. And go sign the books. You have to, you should, all right? And you're already doing everything else you need to do. At some point, it just becomes a waiting game. You continue to work security, or if you want, find some sort of construction blue collar job. I don't even know if that's really necessary, but I tell guys, hey, not a bad idea to go get some hands-on experience in a construction trade just to see that, hey, these are the kind of guys I'll be working with. I could work with my hands. I could work outside in the elements. I'm not afraid of heights. I can lift heavy objects. I can physically do the job in the blue collar world. And that's also a good thing to talk about in your interview as well. So you're ever doing everything that you need to do, Diego. Just do those things that I told you, sign the books, maybe get some other certifications like I mentioned right before, or even in that first question, and you're on the right track. So just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode of CTQ with Blue Collar Edu. I'm here to expose, teach, educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities, how to get started in the skilled trades. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys have questions, put in the comments down below or email them to austin@bluecollaredu.com, and I'll take your questions and I'll answer them either on email or here on CTQ. That being said, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Cruise the Questions.